Alright, just want to make a quick video here on DuPont. This is going to be ticker symbol DD. And, I wanted to make a video on DuPont because I think that there could be some potential to make money either on the upside or the downside with DuPont in the coming days and as we close out this year with there being about a month left in the year. So just want to pull it up here on a weekly time frame. So this is a 20-year weekly time frame. So every candlestick would be 1 week. And I just want to start here to give us an overall direction of the trend of DuPont, and then just kind of dive in to a little bit closer time frame. So looking at the weekly, we can see this is a consistent downtrend for well over a year. You can see all of 2019 we have been down. We set the highs back in early 2018, and then ever since we've just been to the downside. So when we are looking at this chart after seeing 2 years to the downside here, you need to keep that in the back of your head that this is not an uptrending stock, so for it to make a breakout would be a little bit more difficult than if it were to be trending to the upside. We are going to have to break this 2-year downtrend to really see some sort of push. So anyway, just want to start with that, and now I'm going to dive into the 1-year daily charts. This will just be basically all of 2019, and just looking back from say June through now, you can kind of see that we're in this bit of a whipsaw, this consolidating whipsaw pattern, and with highs being anywhere around 74 to 76, and the lows definitely being down here around $64 a share. You can already see that I have the support line drawn in, and this is what has sparked my interest. You can see dating back to May, every time that we come around this $64 price point, we bounce and we rally back up north of $70 a share. You can see we went up to 74, and then multiple times we've made it up here around 72 to 74, 73, somewhere in that ballpark. So, that is why I see there being potential here in DuPont because we are right around that $64 price point. I'd honestly like to see it pull down just a little bit more to help me if, I need to set a stop loss if we ended up breaking to the downside and switching to a short. I just would like to see it pull down just a little bit closer to the $64 price point right in here. And one thing to make note of is that we set a low back here in late August, which was in the mid 63s. And then as we came in here around mid-October, we set a new low around 62.80 roughly, and it would be positive to see if we continue this downward trend that we do not make a lower low than what we saw back here in mid-October, if that makes sense. Buyers are now willing to step in at a higher price than the previous extreme low that we saw here on the daily chart. That would be a good sign, is that we did not break through that level down here, this extreme level around $63 a share, that we set a higher low. And where we sit currently, if we were to get in around say 64.50, where I have my trend line drawn, and coming out towards the end of the year, let's say the price rallied back up to $68 a share, you're looking at about a 5.5% gain. And that's nothing to just sneeze at, with the potential that we could break to the upside and break this downward trend. Now, I'm not shooting for that, but it is a potential. It could happen, and in that case, I would be looking closer to the $72 price point, which would put us around 11.5% for the gain. With more after that, but I'd want to see us break this downward trend that I have drawn in here, and confirm, obviously initially confirm this bounce and then break through to the positive side. Now let's look at the downside to it, because there is always a downside if it were to break through support, no matter what stock you're looking at. So I'm going to pull us back out here to the 20-year weekly. And this kind of, again, it gives us a nice broad overview that we can see there is support on the long term down here right around $60 a share is what I would like to put it at, which again, that's another $4 and roughly 7% to 7.5% to the downside. So that is why we need to have a little bit of caution here. You can see we've had now 3 weeks in a row to the downside after tapping on this upper bound of our downward trend. So that's just something to keep in mind, but we are sitting on this, resistance, or excuse me, this support right around 64.50, anywhere from 64 to 64.50, more of a support zone. So just keep that in mind and keep this, as just keep an eye on it throughout next week. It could, if we start to see people step in to buy, it could be a potential good buy as we roll into next year. But if we do break down again, look to see us move down closer to the $60 price point, where we see these extreme lows from back a few years ago. Anyway, if we were to break to the upside and break through this downward trend line, if we can break through 70 and then say $72, looking at the more longer term time frame, I would look towards $75 as being a nice price target, which would be a hefty chunk of gains around say 16 to 17%. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this made sense and that maybe you gained a little bit of knowledge out of it. And even if you don't trade DuPont, maybe you can look at this chart and take these strategies and implement them in your own analysis. So thank you guys for watching.